The comfortable and cozy world of real estate and home renovation is about to get a major makeover thanks to HGTV superstars Drew Scott and Jonathan Scott's new high-stakes series, backed by the Bros. The Emmy-nominated stars are hanging up their tool belts for the new project and putting their reputations on the line to help struggling investors hit it big. While the twins have usually been at the forefront of home renovations, the 10-episode series finds Drew and Jonathan focusing on mentoring property investors rather than directly managing renovations. Proving that they're more than just renovation wizards, the humble pair of Canadians know a good investment when they see it. In an exclusive with Collider, the two reveal it's time they leverage their extensive experience to offer tough love and practical advice to prevent investors from repeating the same mistakes they made early in their careers. We learned through a lot of these mistakes. I remember one house that we had. It was the first massive full renovation that we took on, and at the time, we didn't realize that the homeowner that sold it to us, he said, "I built this whole place by hand." That should have been a red flag, Drew tells Collider. But it isn't just red flags. The two will be sharing with potential investors in their series, which premieres June 5 on HGTV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and streams the same day on Max. Jonathan admits, though it's a matter of understanding how everyone's situation is different, they've made the same mistakes and want to genuinely help those avoid such financial pitfalls, even if some of them make it difficult for the twins. "I don't want to give all of this energy and all of this experience to someone who's gonna turn around and dump it in the trash and do their own thing. We want people who will learn." As the Scotts emphasize the importance of understanding the risks and costs involved in real estate investments, while contrasting emotional decisions typically made by homeowners with a more calculated approach, they also share some personal news with their respective partners, including an update on two of the biggest events the twins have in store: the birth of Drew's second child with wife, Linda Fan, and Jonathan's upcoming wedding to actress and singer-slash-songwriter Zooey Deschanel. Before we talk about Backed by the Bros, which I'm very excited about, I'd love to ask how you two are doing, and I want to start with you, Drew. I know baby number 2 is coming next month, and it's very exciting. While parenthood often brings surprises, what lessons have you learned from your experience as a first-time dad that you'll now be applying in raising your second child with Linda? I think the one big thing for me was any parent friends that we had. A lot of them were giving advice and whatnot, but the one thing that I thought is that I could plan things, and I realized that you can plan, you can read all you want, and it's not gonna really matter as much as you think it will. Life rolls in a different way, and Parker's gonna do what he wants to do. I just realized that if you just surround him with love in that safe environment, he's gonna grow and flourish on his own path. That was the big thing for me. I have realized that your first child is always super precious, and you want to make sure you're helicoptering, but by your second child, you realize they're gonna be just fine. Yeah, exactly. Laughs. They're gonna be basically 2 years apart. And I think it's funny how it was only 2 years ago, but I've already forgotten. I had so many little tricks of the trade when I was changing diapers and doing, like, late-night feeding and stuff like that. I'm already forgetting how I did my little techniques and stuff. So you go through the whole thing for the first time. For us, the most important thing is we want to have a kick-ass party with the people we care about. We are gonna keep it very intimate, so it's not gonna be a huge wedding. The food is important. The music and the party afterward are important. Because of our obsession with escape rooms, we're thinking, what if we do an escape room wedding where we lock everybody into the venue and they can only escape if they solve riddles? That's the sort of stuff that we're gonna do with that. We just know so many people who want to be involved in real estate. They want to invest in real estate. They say, "I just wish I could make an extra income on the side." And they jump in, not realizing how much work is involved and how risky it can actually be if you don't know what you're doing. So we created a show that is unlike anything we've ever done. You'll see the tone of it is different. We are tough when we need to be tough. We're still supportive. We bring all our resources and experience to the table, and even with that, some of these investors don't take our advice, and it just goes south for them. Drew, I think the thing Jonathan and I found was a lot of people will say it's very different dealing with investors versus dealing with homeowners with their primary residence where they live, because a lot of homeowners make emotional decisions. The problem here is most of our clients are everyday homeowners who are trying to get into a new type of investment. They're trying to do something more, make more money with real estate, so they're actually bringing that same emotion into something that should be non-emotional decisions. And so there's a lot of stress that we're seeing there that's over and above what we would typically deal with investors when we're dealing with them. Jonathan and I have been doing this since the mid-90s. We've been doing this a very, very long time, and I wish we had a mentor like what we're doing for these investors back then. We didn't. We learned through a lot of these mistakes. I remember one house that we had. It was the first massive full renovation that we took on, and at the time, we didn't realize that the homeowner that sold it to us, he said, "I built this whole place by hand." That should have been a red flag, and when we went into it, everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. Our costs skyrocketed, and we ended up selling and getting out with barely $1 in our pocket. I mean, it was tough, and there have been times when we've taken a loss. So, I just think there are a lot of these little things. These homeowners we're working with, this one couple actually put their full Jonathan, they basically put in their entire retirement savings. They have 4 children, all of their children's college funds they put into this investment. They wanted to tear down the house they bought, rezone it, and make it an apartment building. It turns out that the property would never be allowed to be an apartment building, and this is something we would have known immediately before buying the property. But they, for a year, spent over 150 grand trying to do this, and it didn't work. So we'll get those people back on track. For some of them, it's a matter of rescuing them. For some of them, it's a matter of finding these incredible investments and getting them so that they are actually generating that income. Every single story is different, but it's very exciting. The one thing to me that is crazy is, we've talked so many times over the years. You've heard us talk a lot about our experience. If you had us working with you on your own personal investment, and we are giving you all these resources to help you stretch a budget, you know, designers, contractors, we have materials, everything, and we're giving you advice, would you say, okay, and turn around and do the opposite of what we're advising you? Because that's literally what some of these homeowners are doing, these investors are doing. They're not listening, and we said, we've been where you are. We've made the mistakes you're about to make. We can see it coming, and they still make them.